I remember like an old timer coming up to me one day going, bro, we don't say good morning around here. We're locked up. I'm like, Jesus. I didn't want to be positive.
Yeah, dude.
Positive. When I got locked up, I was upset for like a week, guys, to be honest with you. After a week, I was like, this ain't that bad. Can you believe that? I'm telling you this as a man. Somebody did a guide a couple weeks ago about how we would do in jail. We would do what I did, run the joint. Because when you're funny, you can get away with murder.
Oh, I've thought about it. I'd run to whatever it's called, solitary. I think I could do solitary fine.
Why, dude?
I'm terrified.
Dude, you want to live in a box? It's like small. It's like, dude, it's a box, bro.
Let me tell you something. When I got locked up, it wasn't that bad. I could sit here and lie to you and tell you the first 2 weeks were hell because it was the last 2 weeks of August with no air, and I was on the third floor. Oh. And you don't stop sweating.
Oh, I'm sure,
you just
dude.
don't stop sweating. When I went to, but you also have to remember that I made it through the system in less than a month. That was unheard of. That was unheard of. Like, you had to sit in the system. Like, when I got sentenced, they told me that day, they're like, listen, you better get comfortable in Boulder because you're not going to see Canyon City till October, maybe November, maybe December. Well, that backed up. But I didn't care because county jail is 2 for 1. So it's 2 days for 1. So so remember, I got 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's simple math. Like, I had no time because I got 4 years. There was a new law, House Bill 1200, passed. If it's a non-offender, non-violent crime, first offense, sentence gets cut in half. So it went from 48 to 24, right? I did a month. I had 2 weeks in county. That's a month.
Yeah.
So I had 23 months left, and you're eligible for a halfway house at 18 months. And you get put in a halfway house at the 16-month level. Once you're at 18 months, you're eligible for a halfway house. You're just a wake up away from going, pack up your stuff.
Get out.
Like, your girlfriend is on the way to visit you on a 4-hour drive. And they'll tap you on the shoulder and go, get your stuff. You're leaving it out. When you're like, what about my girlfriend? Who cares?
Well, that's because I used to love like those lockup shows, all that stuff. It's crazy to me, like, you were at least living in Colorado. But let's say you went on vacation or to do a show in Denver and did something. You could just end up in jail somewhere where you have nothing, like nothing.
It's crazy.
You could just end up in jail there.
I spent one night in jail. I bought drugs off a hooker because I had gotten sober and like I was itching and I was like, fuck, I need drugs, dude. And nobody has drugs except I didn't know anybody with drugs.
This is in Vegas.
This is here in L.A.
Oh, my God.
Way back when I was just running and gunning. And I didn't know anybody that had drugs because, like, every time you get sober, you're like, dude, I'm going to get rid of all the drug dealers' names. No drug dealers in my phone. And then you're like, fuck, man, I got a couple days off. I got nowhere to be. Man, I got to get weird, right? So, and I'd be like, where? So I'd be like, who's got drugs? And I see this hooker. I'm like, okay, man, hookers know where drugs are, dude. And so like, she's like, yeah, I'll get you some drugs. Let me get you some drugs. I'm like, I'm not even sure this is a chick, to be honest with you, but I didn't even care at this point. You know, it's, you know, she got a wig on, walks like a chick, talks like a chick, got to be a chick, right?
This is Hollywood.
This is Hollywood. That's the stroll, the whole stroll, you know? And I see her, she's like, yeah, look, let's do it. So we go, I pull, and she runs in, she grabs my shit. $40. I got $40 worth. And as soon as I pull out, boop, boop, I'm like, oh, man, life is over, dude. I am done, man. So they pull me over. I'm like, oh, man, I'm done. I'm never going to go to Canada. I'm just going through all this stuff. So they get me out. They handcuff me. I'm like right in Hollywood where like I live 3 blocks from me. I'm like, I'm fucked, man. And he's like, where's the drugs? I'm like, I don't know. And he reaches in, he pulls out, and dude, I basically gotten ran by this chick or whatever it was. For $40, I got like nothing, right? And I was like, I didn't care at that point because I just wanted to run and gun, right? Run and gun. So he's like, he pulls it out. He's like, where's the rest of it? I go, man, that's it. And like, I made a mistake. I shouldn't even, the new rules, anybody listening, if you haven't been to jail, never admit to anything. They're not your friends, man. They're not your friends.
You don't know
what is
nothing.
this? I don't know, dude. Where'd you get this? Don't know what you're talking about.
Don't know.
I didn't know that, right?
I don't know nobody.
So I end up, so he's like, he pulls out, he goes, where's the rest of it? I go, that's it. He goes, where's the rest? I go, that's it. He goes, how much did you pay for this? And I go, 40. And he looked at it. He started laughing, and then the chick who just jacked me started laughing. Everyone's laughing because I'd basically gotten taken for the 40 that I paid for like the nothing of drugs I had bought, right? So then I go to jail, and it's my only night I ever stayed in jail.
L.A. County.
No, West Hollywood.
Right by Amoeba?
Yeah, no. Down in Boys Town, man. I don't know why they took me there because it was way down the other way. But they took me to the West Hollywood Sheriff's Jail.
Okay.
And dude, I don't know what it is, but dude, if they know it's your first time in jail, only they try to run some shit on you. Dude, they put this homeless dude in it, within 2 seconds, shits his pants, dude. They pull him out, send another one in, shits his pants, dude. They're just, so I'm trying, So I don't know what I'm getting charged with. So they're doing and this is the time I had a super like Armenian mohawk. And it's like, I'm like, what am I getting charged with? He's like, felony possession. I'm like, and I just started, I'm like, oh man, I'm never going to travel anywhere to do stand up. And to this day. So, like I've been doing this Armenian benefit for like 20 years, man. It's the Armenian Bone Mail Registry, right? And on the board is Garagos, the lawyer. And like, dude, I mean, I'm broke at this time, dude. Like, I got no money, man. And I'm like, fuck, man, I'm gonna call this dude and just see if I can do a Hail Mary pass. So I call him up. I'm like, hey, he's like, what's up, Sammy? I go, hey, man, I made some bad decisions and I need some legal thing. And he's like, well, okay, what do you got? How much cash you got? I'm like, I'm hurting. He's like, okay, just come down. So he comes down and goes, here, I'm going to charge you $1,500. I'm going to represent you. And they sent me down. And we're going to this trial, right? Dude, the police, so they do, I forget what it's called, but they basically say they want all the records on the cop that arrests me, right? Exploration, I don't know what the word is, but they call it. So I set another trial. I show up with my lawyer, and dude, the police union rep shows up and goes, we're not going to give our records on this cop, and we want the charges dropped. And the charges got dropped because this dude was dirty. So, and dude, and like if I hadn't done this charity event and got a lawyer that knew how to run this game, I would have been effed, man. But I got out of it because I did charity work and I never had to, and dude, I never messed with that shit again, dude. But dude, I mean, like, that's the system, man. Poor people get fucked, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that is the worst. When you see those lights go, you're like, oh man, you're thinking your mom's gonna find out. You're like, hey,
when you get arrested, I learned it the hard way. I'm not a cheap person, but nobody wants to pay for a lawyer. Nobody wants to pay for a lawyer. And I'll never forget getting arrested, the other guy got arrested first, so he had a private defender. That means you can't have a private defender because it's a conflict of interest. So they had to get me a court-appointed lawyer who was horrible. He was horrible. But I ran with it. I'm like, maybe, let's see what happens. And my friend, and I called, everybody told me to call this one guy. I called him, and he wasn't a friend of mine, but we became friends over time. And he sat me down. The first thing he said is, you better open your piggy bank. And I go, I just started putting money in that piggy bank. That piggy bank has been empty for 2 years. And now they finally put money in that piggy bank. Like, it broke my heart.
oh yeah,
Like, I got to open it. And he's like, you got to open it. And I go, how much? And he goes, well, how much do you want to stay out? How much do you want your freedom?
yeah.
So I had to take everything I had, and kept the attorney I had until I could find a better one. But the best thing I did was my friend recommended to meet with a law clerk, the dean of the law school. He goes, trust me, when I got in trouble, a friend of mine told me to go meet with him. He'll simplify it for you in one conversation. I think the guy wanted like $3,000
Oh,
for a
man.
half hour or something.
Oh my god.
Man, that is
Like,
cash, dude.
And I was like broken. But I go, you know what? I'm going to cancel it. I'm not going to pay him $2,500 or whatever. I'm going to call my mother's attorney in Jersey, Sam DeLuca. This guy was a savage. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I called him. I'm like, same thing you did. It's Joey Diaz. It's Denora's son. Blah, 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 blah. He goes, all right. He goes, I want 30 just to get on the plane. It was 1987, guys. And this guy just wanted 30 to get on the plane.
30 grand.
30 grand
Oh, my God.
just to get on the plane. So I knew already. Like that, I was like, let me call you back in 5 minutes. I was like, 30 grand just for a plane ride. What am I going to do about this trial? What am I going to do? And once I went to see the law clerk told me exactly what to do. The steps, you know, he goes, I would take your case. But as soon as I walk in there with you, they're going to give you 10 years. He goes, you're in the land. What do you do when you're in Rome? Do one in Rome. He goes, you bring some fucking Jew attorney in here, slick, they're going to throw the book at you. They don't want to see a slick Jew in here. They don't want to see like a slick white guy. You got to hire a guy that mirrors them. This guy told me that at the time, the head of the law school was Spanish. So he got interested in me, and he's like, you want to go to law school? And I'm like, fuck yeah. And he's like, I'll hook you up. I'll put you in the COP program. I mean, oh my God, it was crazy. A felon, that Spanish, will accept you and all this shit. So he broke it down for me. He goes, he goes, listen, you could pay all the money in the world. You're still going to do 90 days. He goes, there's no judge that's not going to sentence you 90 days. He goes, I don't care who you walk in there, you're doing at least 90 days. I go, what about work release? He goes, ooh, I don't think so. He goes, that's going to be fucking tight. And he gave me a short list of guys, and I had to meet with all of them. And I can't tell you the number my guy wanted. He wanted a piece first up front, and then he wanted a back end.
Oh, my God.
I had to give it to him.
Oh, my God.
But this white boy went to work, Jack.
A back end of what?
You have to give him up front and a back end.
Yeah, but the back end's like when the movie does well, you get points on how much the movie makes.
No, there's no back
Like, what are you talking about?
No, back end is what you're given. It's what you're given. So it's 10 just to open up the conversation. And I'll let you know when that runs out.
Yeah. Hey, I got to run it.
I'll let you know when the 10 runs out. And then it was like I was on retainer for a month. So from February of 87 till from December of 87, no, from January of 87 to August on 87, I think I had to give them $2,000 a month. Something like that, calls, paperwork. And then I got hip to the thing. Those calls were costing me $200. Yeah. So I didn't call them.
The worst.
Did not call them. I would not call them. I could see my bill went down. I'm like, oof. Because every time I call them, I'd fucking complain about something. I just saw Bella crossing the street on here. $250. $250. But this guy was good. He got the job done for me.
Hey, man, you pay for what you get.
He explained it to me.
Get what you pay for.
He told me the steps, what he was going to do. Like, I met with him, and then a week later, I met with him again. He turned the sheet of paper around. He handed it to me. He goes, these are the steps. And he hooked me up with a private investigator to counter everything. That motherfucker charged me an arm and a leg. That was miserable.
Oh.
It was miserable. But and then the divorce, don't even get me started. My divorce was easily $200,000.
Oh, my God.
And 160 that went in credit cards. And half of that I paid and half of that I didn't. I just ripped up the card and said, give me a bad credit score.